guess you could mention,
Sure.
went to a Northland Chamber of Commerce event, Partners in Education. We're looking at kind of revamping that process there and how they're involved with the community and students. So I just want to continue to work with that.
Sure.
Yeah, sometime this summer, somebody asked me to visit Oak Park. I live just down the street to see their new lights. And I was also in 4 of our buildings today. And 2 things jumped out at me. One was the Navitas program is, you can visibly see it in several of the buildings. I mean, it's like brightly, really neatly lit corridors and buildings and so forth, so that was great. And 2, just the, every time I do this, the commitment of the staff to the kids is, and including the support staff, and including the fact that the standard for the people who maintain the facilities is high. It's been high ever since I've been around, and for it to be sustained at that level for so long is a real compliment to the folks who run that piece.
Thank you, Mr. President. We have a couple items that came up this week, the questions that board members had, so we thought we'd address some of those this evening. I'm going to ask Mr. Harold to talk about the Innovation Center first and progress on that.
I'd be glad to. And I hope you all have driven down North Oak recently, because if you had, you're going to see the tallest building in Gladstone. That's great. We now have 5 stories of steel that are on about 69th and North Oak. And it's going to be home to the Northland Innovation Center. And again, it will open in August of 2016. So we have a lot of work to do between now and then, but let me tell you the progress that we've made. Obviously, we've worked with the City of Gladstone, we've worked with our Board of Education, and we approved a real estate agreement with CBC Realty, who actually own the site, and again, we will lease the facility for the next 20 years. We've been working a lot with Hopper Wysocki, who are the architects on the project, and in my opinion, they've done a fantastic job. We've had a committee of parents, teachers, and students who have all had input on that. Dixie has been a regular at all the meetings, giving input to the design of that facility. Hoffer Wysocki is also working with us as a furniture consultant, and one of the neat things that we have going at this point in time is we have the plans drawn out, but nevertheless they're working with our teachers at this point in time on possible furniture concepts. And what our teachers are most excited about is the furniture consultants are actually letting our teachers have that furniture in their classrooms right now at their existing buildings to try it out. And it's been a good process, because some of the furniture that they've seen and have talked about, once they've got it in their own classroom at the building that they're in right now, they either like it or decide they didn't like it as well. So it will not move into the permanent structure when we go forward with that. But Mikal Gordon is the construction manager on that project, and actually on August the 28th, which was just a couple days ago, they delivered to us the interior tenant improvement plans. And then what has happened at this point in time, they have submitted these plans to the City of Gladstone for their building permit and inspection process. So again, we have not heard back from the City of Gladstone, but the point is that we're going through a permit process at this point in time. Some of the things that we've done right now to help out with the facility, for example, we're putting a full service kitchen in it at this point in time. However, in our immediate needs and operations, we're not going to operate it as a full kitchen. But the point is the plumbing and the infrastructure is being put in at this point in time, so that if we ever want to expand it, we could. Another great thing that's happening, actually not in our kitchen, but through the facility, is our Director of Food Service was presented to you last month, I believe, And she talked about the catering contract that she's going to have with Northwest Missouri State University to do the catering for the students who attend the university programs on the top floor of that facility. And again, at this point in time, it's just a lot of construction work that's going on right now. But again, it's fun to see North Oak being transformed, and I encourage you to all drive by that site if you have not at this point in time. Really, the construction cost, we do have it at $55 per square foot. Again, that is for the hard construction cost. There are soft costs, which pushes that budget up, but nevertheless, our hard construction contracted cost is at about $55 per square foot. I think as far as the timing goes, when the hole was first dug, the foundation was dug, it was kind of the rainy season, but at this point in time, they appear to be on track. And really, the neat thing about it is Cal Gordon is the construction manager, not only for CBC, but they're also our construction manager. So as we talk to them about tenant improvements, they're incorporating our needs and desires into the whole construction of the building as they go forward. So in many aspects, we're supposed to get possession to really do our tenant improvements in April, and then again have the building open in August. However, Cal Gordon is incorporating our wants and desires as they construct it. So as far as the timing goes, we're not aware of any delays on the project at this point. Dixie, would you like to chime in?
No, you did a good job.
Okay. Yeah, she's been at every meeting.
There's another furniture meeting, I think, this week or next week.
I think it's next week.
Next week.
Okay.
And I'd be really surprised if I hear you over the course of this project say anything negative about Cal Gordon, because I just finished a huge project for his KCPL and he was the construction manager. Great group to work with. Glad to hear that.
Thank you, Paul. Next, we have Dr. Clemens is going to talk about some of the additional back-to-school information we started on last meeting. So, Dr. Clemens.
Absolutely. We'll probably, if it's okay with you, I'd like to start off with our CNG, compressed natural gas bus update. Things are still on schedule, which is fantastic. As Paul mentioned earlier, we've had lots of new buses arrive for our northern lot up at the Staley lot, and I can tell you it's made large buses competitive again. Generally, when you get some tenure within transportation, you want to drive the smaller air-conditioned buses. But now that we have brand new buses on the lot, they're become popular again. We're getting lots of compliments throughout the neighborhoods about it's about time North Kansas City got some new buses. The old ones were looking pretty run down. So everybody seems to be real happy with that. I can tell you that we've been meeting with Navitas actually on our conversion to compressed natural gas on the lot. Because what we didn't want to do is replicate services. So we're taking advantage of our performance contract to put in LED lighting, some of the shop modifications that's required when you start using natural gas rather than diesel. And so we've been excited, and Colby's going to help us with maybe even some receptacles that we plug into to keep the buses warm at night so that they all start at 5 o'clock in the morning on those cold days. The retrofit on our shop is going to start in December and should take about 60 days. Then we'll start on the actual fueling station in the lot, which we anticipate taking about 90 days, and we'll start in January on the fueling. And probably most exciting for all of us is our 124 buses will start delivery in April. So we'll start exchanging those buses out as they come in from High Point, North Carolina. I can tell you that our new diesel buses are getting about 2.5 miles better gas mileage than the ones that we've discarded or traded in. And again, I think the most positive thing for me is just hearing all the positive nature of our transportation employees. They were actually sent me a little card that I should have brought it with me, but they were joking that we have one mechanic that shows up to the Staley lot every morning at 4 o'clock just to make sure somebody didn't leave the lights on, we have a low battery or a light maybe out on a bus. And they told me that they're requesting a white uniform for that gentleman because he's a lot like the Maytag man right now with all the new school buses. There's not a whole lot for him to do but to see everybody off. So thank you for that. Other thing that I probably need to update you on is classrooms and classroom space, particularly at our elementary schools. This year we ended up doing 9 computer lab conversions. If you remember the original list that we gave the board, I think there was 12 for the whole, the whole bond. We were able to do 9 this summer. And really, 2 of them were just in time, like middle of August. And we jumped on Maplewood and Northview the week before school started when we found out we needed to add another section there. But we had 2 at Newmark, 1 at Northgate, 1 at Gracemore, the Maplewood, the Northview, Clardy, Davidson, and Lakewood. And the reason why we converted 9 classrooms is because we're out of space again. We just continually to fill up the classrooms as we move along. One of the things that gave us a little bit more ability to jump in on more classrooms was the board's decision last year to move some of the computers down from the high school to the middle school to the elementary. So that really provided some relief for us as we move forward. Staffing was another one. I wanted to give you a quick update. I know Dr. Ward at some point is going to ask, are we 100% highly qualified? I think we're down to 2 people that Dr. Del Sim's working with to make sure that their paperwork, which is generally the case at this point in the year. We'll work with Desi to make sure that we're 100% highly qualified. Just hired our last teacher. We had, of all schools again, Crestview. It's still continuing to grow in their year-round program. So we added another kindergarten teacher to Crestview. They're out of room and they don't have any more computer labs. So I don't know what we're going to do if Crestview continues to grow in their year-round school. But that was the last hires that we anticipate making after all the dust has kind of settled and our enrollment is rolling. Our enrollment on a 10-day mark was 19,350 students, which is 50 more than last year. And the question was posed to me earlier today, 19,350 is less than what RSP projected for us at this point. Now, the official number is September 30th, isn't it, Mr. Harold?
The last one's this September.
I think that's September 30th. We would need to gain about 200 students to meet our projection. He has a 19,559, I think. So we're a little bit behind, but we'll work hard to catch up on our student enrollment. Other than that, I can tell you that we believe things are moving well, and pretty much have everybody calmed down on class sizes, and everybody's kind of gotten into a routine now that school's going.
I remember a couple of years ago at that time, we had 2 empty classrooms in the district. What's our count now?
We have one at Clardy that they're using as a professional learning center. And then I think we may have, Belle Prairie is now full, and that used to be my go-to spot. They're at 639 kids now, which is up. Terry, I don't think we have many extra rooms. Now, we're looking very much forward to Mr. Harrell's work in the Innovation Center that hopefully will give us 12 more elementary classrooms. And I think a success for this Board of Education is last year you made the decision to do a boundary change at Northview Elementary School. We moved 80 kids out of Northview. Their enrollment stayed the same after moving 80 students out. So that was a great decision by the Board of Education and allowed us a little bit of time to figure things out at Northview.
Do you attribute the growth at Crestview to the year-round school? And if so, are you seeing the same growth at Wynwood?
I do believe that the increased enrollment at Crestview is due to the year-round school. We continue to have students move to this area and ask, we've heard about Crestview, we've heard about Wynwood, we'd like to get into those schools. We actually didn't see the growth at Wynwood that we are seeing at Crestview. Different neighborhoods, I don't know, I can't exactly contribute all the factors, but we didn't see a massive exodus at Wynwood, but we're just, the Crestview community is very close, and they continue to push and push and push, and so, yeah, that's kind of where we're at. I think I gave you kind of a long-winded answer for, we're not seeing exactly the same thing, but both schools are healthy.
Other questions?
Thank you, Dr. Clemens. And then our educational meeting later this month, Dr. Hackett will be up and her staff will be talking about our test scores and MSIP 5 and APR and a lot of great information for that meeting. Other than that, that's all we have for this evening, unless there's other questions.
Other questions from the board? Anything else for the good of the order? Okay, we'll move on to 7.01.